All right, everyone, the doomsday clock has been moved to that infamous setting 2 minutes to midnight. We were at 2.5 minutes, which already is historically fairly bad. We're now at basically Cuban Missile Crisis levels. That's how close to Armageddon the nuclear scientists now judge us to be. I happen to concur. I think their sentiment is largely true, although I would have said we've been at arguably 2 minutes to midnight, maybe even a little bit closer, maybe a minute and 30 seconds, although that doesn't make songs as easy as 2 minutes to midnight. So I think there's a reason for that. They're hoping for an Iron Maiden comeback here, I guess. I think that we've been there for at least some time. The idea, I guess, is primarily driven by two things. This is their estimation. Number one, the continuous cooling of relations between Russia and the U.S., which could become dangerous. Right now, there may not be an inherent danger. But as relations continue to worsen because the U.S. Congress continuously browbeats Russia, wants to fuck around with them, Trump even now is basically ambivalent. He's not attempting to stop them, which is, I think, perhaps the wrong thing to do. Because of that fact and because of North Korea developing apparently a hydrogen weapon of some sort, or at least some sort of a weapon considerably larger than they had before. Possibly they have large numbers of them, upwards of 100, at least, atomic weapons. The world is considerably more dangerous in a nuclear sense. At this point, probably, we don't go back down from that. Even if we were to completely thaw relations with Russia and, all of the people at the Kremlin and the White House got together in Switzerland for a giant keg party. Even if that happened, probably would be a good 3 minutes to midnight just on the power of the DPRK. The problem is this. Now, what I would say is that a war with North Korea, while it would cause a nuclear exchange, it would not be doomsday. It wouldn't be a nuclear apocalypse. The idea that the kinds of weapons they field, even deployed in large numbers, would cause like a nuclear winter or anything like that, I don't think is true. And by the way, I think we would decapitate part of their nuclear capability very quickly. It's not clear they have the ability to put them on long-range missiles, which means you're talking again. For at least most of their weapons, they would be dropped by plane locally. We're talking about the annihilation of the Korean Peninsula. We're not talking about the annihilation of the world. Much more concerning, though, right now as well, I think, would be China and the Spratlys. The fact that China is now sort of an edge on which Asia is beginning to pivot is concerning, and at the same time, and this is positive for the U.S., India moving westward also can cause problems because it puts them at odds in competition with China. You see India has warmed relations with Israel. That could be a problem with China and the Russian sphere. India is quite clearly now leaning towards the Western world. Great news for the Western world, really, really terrible news for Asian relations, I think. And of course, there's still the simmering issue with Pakistan, with constant border incursions now between Pakistan, India, and China because they can't agree on where their own borders lie. Now, that's been an issue for some time. That's definitely part of it, although I don't think they mentioned it explicitly. But then again, that's basically par for the course within this triplicate region. You've also got instability. You've got communists now running Nepal again, leading towards China. That could cause problems with India between these two countries. But North Korea is definitely a big number one there. But Russia and U.S. relations, they don't have to be chilly. The big thing is that the idea that we have to be at odds with Russia at all when Russia is now a secondary power in this world, not a primary power, is ludicrous. Their main power is they have a lot of nukes. So let's just avoid ever using them on one another and destroying the entire world in the process. Well, there you go. Fairly simple. Now, of course, getting down to brass tacks and accomplishing that may be a little more diplomatically difficult. But do you think that the way to accomplish that is blaming Russia for every problem the establishment has here? They seem content to start World War III if it'll prevent them from having their own corruption actually shown to the public. With like the FISA memo, the failed Mueller probe, Comey with the Clinton probe, all of these things. It looks like they've been corrupt for a long time. They tried to blame Russia and they've accidentally started a new Cold War in the process of doing so. They're probably doing that to keep Trump from being as effective in his position as well. And Vlad doesn't make it easier. There's a little bit of responsibility to be had in the Kremlin itself, we have to admit. Because, of course, Vladimir Putin has occasionally countermanded what Trump said when it was of no significant degree of something that needed to be. Oh, yeah, we never had a conversation, he says. Or, yeah, the Americans are going crazy right now. It's not helpful, dude. There's some of us trying to prevent a nuclear exchange. I don't know if Vlad knows this. I'm not sure if the U.S. Congress knows this, but there are those that are attempting to use whatever influence they have to prevent World War III. I'd love to play Fallout real life. That sounds great, but the problem is, I don't even get a quick death by vaporization or turn into a ghoul. I have to suffer with chronic radiation exposure. I probably die of cancer. Not exactly the sort of way I'd want to go out. Yeah, at the very least, can China create a contingency? Can you invade so I can go out, defending the homeland, waving the flag or something? Something cool like that instead of slowly succumbing to cancer? Okay, then it's all good. Then you can have your nuclear war. That's all right. Because no one's going to waste one on Rutland. They wouldn't even waste an atomic weapon on us. They wouldn't even waste a bundle of firecrackers dropped out of a Foka triplane on Rutland. As far as the direct blasts go, I think I'm just fine. I think the nearest thing likely to get hit would be Montpelier, Albany, or Burlington. It's not even clear, of course, that every missile that gets off the ground would even make it to its target or fall anywhere near its target. It could fall up in Montreal. Yeah, poor Bunty, he's in fucking Montreal, so he's got problems. You got to realize, statistically speaking, about half of the people you're familiar with are in urban areas. In fact, probably more than half. Considering the more rural areas, sometimes they don't even have electricity in the world. So, I'm lucky. I'll be one of the lucky ones. You can swing by, and I'll be offering free copies of After the Ashes in exchange for mute fruits and Brahmin heads. So we'll go back to the trading system. We're going to use bottle caps. I got a big-ass container of them. So I'm all set for the apocalypse. Got the weapons, got some, armor, of a type anyway. MREs, because I like those, and bottle caps. That's all you need, dude. So I'm going to dig in a little root cellar and huddle down there and listen to Diamond City Radio, I guess. It's 3Dog will have to make his epic return at some point, too. I'll have to set up some sort of broadcasting system. Yeah, it'd be funny. Here's an idea for people. If you want to troll people after we have a nuclear war, you're still alive, and there's a few people in cabins and shit. Once you establish an electrical supply of some sort or another, solar panels, whatever, hook up an antenna and try to get a computer hatched into it so that you can just play the Fallout 4 playlist over and over again and then put that on an actual broadcast. Because, copyright at that point goes out the window. And then take a bunch of Coca-Cola, disclaimer, of course, not same as Nuka-Cola, scatter it around your lawn. It'd be so funny. Take a couple cow skulls and try to fuse them together, and then put them on a pike out in front of your little shack. That'd be so funny, dude. That's the sort of thing that I would do after a nuclear war, to tell the truth. Take bottle caps, dump them out everywhere, just have the whole floor covered in them. I'm so rich, haha, I can buy anything. You could use them as a medium of exchange. It might last longer than those cheap zinc pennies that people have begun to print. Most of the coins we use now are fundamentally worthless. They're not even, there's almost no nickel in a nickel. There's almost no silver in a quarter or a dime. There's almost no copper in a penny. It's just a thin coating over a bunch of zinc or an alloy of some sort. It's it's so dumb. They used to make stainless steel pennies back in World War II for a couple of years so they could use the copper to go shoot more German people. Maybe they should do that, although they didn't work in vending machines. But what idiot's going to use... You're not going to be able to use a penny in a vending machine anymore. You can barely use it at all. So 2 minutes to midnight. So listen to the Iron Maiden song over and over and over again until there's nothing left but paranoia. That's about all. Peace out.